competitive spreadsheeting, AI that is smarter than humans, the insane technology behind advertisements you're seeing in the Euros. What is the Mandela Effect? Hey guys, welcome to a new episode of The More You Know. It's a series on YouTube where we go through interesting topics that we find on the internet. So let's get straight into the first one. AI has been on top of everyone's mind ever since ChatGPT first came out, which was almost 2 to 3 years ago now. It was just that we were so stunned by the capabilities of a large language model and what it could do when you scale things up to such a huge amount. Of late, I've been seeing a lot of talk about AGI, Artificial General Intelligence. The current ChatGPT that we use isn't actually thinking like a human and doesn't have general intelligence. So the current AI that we have is actually all targeted towards a specific task, and it is trained on data for that task, and even it is made efficient for a specific task. Artificial General Intelligence is supposed to not be trained on a specific task per se, but to be good at all tasks and learn as it goes, just like a human would do, right? Qualities of AGI would be abstract thinking, to be creative, to be able to transfer learning to other people. It's able to follow common sense while making decisions to come to a particular conclusion for a decision, as well as comprehension of cause and effect. So all this is expected to be present in an AGI. The reason I'm talking about AGI today is because recently one of the co-founders of OpenAI, the company that created ChatGPT, John Schulman, I'm not sure exactly how you pronounce his name, in a recent interview he said that AGI, which can perform intellectual tasks that a human can, is just around the corner. And he's saying that it's progressing much quicker than we actually thought. So he, along with other experts, have been raising the alarm for limit, because there are certain ethical dilemmas involved, as well as a lot of job replacement that could happen if we introduce AI that's capable of doing a lot of different tasks. It can just take over a lot of jobs which people are very dependent upon currently. Just imagine a world where machines can affect our lives in ways that we can't actually control. It's like giving your future up over to a Roomba. You know what a Roomba is, that device that cleans the floor. So there is a real ethical dilemma that comes with AI, especially AGI, because in my opinion, when it takes people's jobs, for example, when we had an AI that could translate English to another language super quickly, the job of a translator is redundant. So imagine something way smarter than that can code instead of there being programmers, that can do marketing instead of there being people who have expertise in marketing. It would take away so many jobs and so many people's livelihoods. So there is that question that, wow, it is impressive. Definitely AI is impressive, and I'm sure there will be new jobs created as a result of AI. But there has to be some ethical considerations on how far we go. There are concerns that are raised by John Schulman, and I think there are a lot of people who also have raised these concerns, and there are even committees when a lot of talk about ethical AI now, which is a good thing. So actually even Pope Francis raised his concerns at a G7 meeting recently. He mentioned that there need to be safeguards when developing AI as well. To paraphrase what the Pope said, he was like, hey, let's not make machines that make all the decisions, and definitely no killer robots. So what's the takeaway is that while we zoom ahead towards a future where AGI is present, which is an inevitable future, I think we need to take into considerations of negative impacts on society, as well as consider all the implications before we just go ahead and before we try to think of dollar bills before the actual fate of humanity. So let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you're very excited about the way AI is progressing currently, or if you have some concern, let me know in the comments below. The Euros going on currently, I saw something and I thought I need to talk about it, because I had come across this fact about the advertising that happens in the stadiums. So before that, if you want to know who I'm predicting to in the Euros, you can check out this video that I did about my predictions for the Euro 2024, the European Championships that are currently going on. What I found out about advertisements in football stadiums is that the advertisements you see may not be the same that someone else across the world sees. And I'm not talking about mid-game advertisements, because football or soccer, if you live in the one country that calls it that, don't have a lot of adverts during a game. They only have advertisements before the game starts, during halftime and after the game. So obviously advertisers want to make money here, and where they show the adverts are on the side of a football pitch. If you watched any football game, you would have seen flowing adverts across the sides of football pitches. But what I didn't know is that these ads are not the same for everyone. And even though it's the same camera recording it, it's completely different depending on where you're watching it from. They somehow map all the advertisement boards in 3D space, and from every camera angle or any camera angle that is recording the pitch, they can artificially superimpose a particular ad that they want a user from a specific region to see. So that way different broadcasts show different advertisements on the same game, even if you're watching the same telecast. If you see these pictures here, the technology is actually mind-blowing. You can't even tell the difference. To be honest, I never noticed this. I've been watching football for so long, and I just thought that these were the same running adverts at the side. This just leads me to think how advertisements may be in the future, where now it's targeted country-wise, but as we know, data is such an important commodity for all these big companies, and every person's data, they tend to build a profile for you. Like we've seen Google ads, and there are a lot of these targeted ads. Whenever we go to websites, we see ads due to our cookies or other data that we've given up. There may be a time where we even see super personalized ads for an individual on a football pitch. Let me know if you knew this fact or it's as impressive to you as it was to me. Have you ever thought that you were 100% sure about a particular fact or a particular event or a particular name or a logo? Like 100% sure, but then when you actually checked it up, it wasn't that. This is called the Mandela Effect. So the reason it's called the Mandela Effect is because it's named after Nelson Mandela. A lot of people vividly remember him dying in prison in the 1980s, even though he actually survived to 2013. So this was such a huge amount of people that actually thought that he didn't make it past the 80s, that there's this effect actually named after him. Let me take you through some of the really interesting examples. For any Star Wars fans out there, there's the iconic line, or if you haven't seen the early Star Wars, well, you had around 30 to 40 years to see it. So I'm going to spoil it for you, but Darth Vader tells Luke, I am your father, the famous line, but it's not actually Luke, I am your father. It's actually, no, I am your father. Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, what do you think the queen says to the mirror? Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all, right? Well, it's actually magic mirror on the wall. Again, I honestly thought it was mirror, mirror. There is a movie called Mirror, Mirror, so maybe that added to the effect as well. Apparently, a lot of people thought that New Zealand was on the northeast of Australia rather than the southeast, which is where it is on the map currently. A lot of people remember it being on the northeast on a map. People thought Pikachu had a black tail, but it's actually not black. It's not Looney Tunes, it's Looney Tunes. So a lot of people thought there's a cornucopia behind the Fruit of the Looms logo, but actually there isn't one. The Monopoly Man doesn't actually have a monocle. So there are a lot of explanations as to why this has happened, and one of them is actually a really interesting theory, which is the parallel universe theory. I mean, if you're a Marvel fan, you probably know a bit of this theory just by watching the movies. But if you're interested in this, I will be talking about this in the next week's video. So tune into next week's video as well if this topic interests you. Did you know there's a championship for Microsoft Excel? Yeah, I'm talking about competitive spreadsheeting. What's the deal with this? It's a place where spreadsheeting wizards come together to showcase their talents. It's like the Olympics, but for number crunching and data analysis. People actually do complex calculations and craft intricate formulas under intense time pressure. There are actually people solving real world problems with Excel, like they create financial models, data visualizations, and even simulations. So it's a test of speed, accuracy, as well as creativity with spreadsheets. It's actually quite nail biting, and it's even streamed online for people to view, like how we have online gaming championships. So this is actually like esports, but for Excel. So winners don't just get bragging rights, they actually get a cash prize for it, and obviously the title of Excel World Champion. Imagine adding that on your resume, right? This is actually testament to how powerful Excel is, because it can be used for so many real world problems, and I mean, it can be used for like finance, engineering, science, education. So yeah, let me know what you think about it, and do you think you're good enough to even try to participate in one of these Excel championships? Let me know in the comments below. So the bonus fact for today is that people didn't always say cheese while taking a photo. Before they used to say cheese, the word they used to say to take a photo was actually prunes, because they preferred that expression while taking a picture rather than the cheese, which is a smile which we've gotten used to now. So if you see really old pictures and you wonder why people have that sort of an expression, It's because they said prunes and not cheese while taking that photo. The more you know, right? So thanks for tuning in today for another episode of The More You Know. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you do have any suggestions on maybe certain topics you want me to talk about, or even ways that I could improve these videos, please leave it down in the comments below. I'm definitely going to have a look. I'm quite new to the whole YouTube thing, so all suggestions are really helpful. Please subscribe if you like this, and yeah, I'll see you in the next one.